Okay, welcome to the first video of working on this Honda S90. So, what I'm going to do first today, if any of you saw the past video in this series, it doesn't have spark, and this, I believe, is the spark plug wire. So the first thing I'm going to try to do with this whole engine, there's probably, 20 things that I need to fix here, but the first thing I'm going to try to do is get spark out of this, which means I'm going to investigate the points which are under this cover. So that looks like you can see pretty well that that set of points is, okay, bend it down, very nasty. Surface there, that is nasty. So it definitely needs a cleaning. So I'm gonna clean that out and see if that helps me get spark or if there's something in it. All right, so to clean the points, I'm going to take this sandpaper here and just drag it in between the connection here. Just put it inside the points connection there and then pull it across. So now with the points cleaned, let's see if I can get any spark out of the end of this plug wire. Doesn't look like it's sparking. So you might be asking why I turned the bike upside down. Well, the simple answer is because I wanted to spill oil all over myself. But no, actually, the simple answer is all of the electrical stuff is in here, it looks like. And in order to get there, I think I have to pull the engine off. So, that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so I spent a little time doing some research on how to get this thing sparking, and as it turns out, this bike will only spark if it has a battery in it. So I got a battery on order. I don't know if it'll get here in time, but we can hope. And for now, I'm going to be cleaning the mouse nests out of the frame, because all throughout this frame there's mouse nest material just packed in there, and I need to get that out of there. See, here's some of it now. Yuck. I need to get that out of there before I want to run this thing, just to make sure I don't cause any fires or whatnot. So what I plan to do to get those mouse nests out of there is I'm going to tilt the frame backwards, because most of them are in the front of the frame, and kind of shake it so that the material falls back into the opening where I took out the engine. And then I'm going to use the leaf blower there to just blow the stuff out. Anyway, that's the plan. Let's see how it works. So I know I haven't talked about this yet in the video, but I meant to, so I'll just say it now. I'm actually planning to bring this thing with me on a trip if I can get it running and functioning properly. I would like to bring it with me on a trip this coming weekend, so I only have a few more days to work on it. So I got a lot of things to do, like I gotta get a gas tank on there, I gotta make a seat, gotta swap the rear tire because it's all dry rotted and nasty. And I fortunately have another rear tire of the right size on hand. It's even a dirt tire, so it'll work perfectly for my purposes. So yeah, I'm gonna be working on this pretty fast, seeing if I can get it ready to go on my trip with me at the end of the week. So I created a pattern here to cut the seat out. First thing I did was I measured the distance between the two bolt holes in the rear where I'm gonna bolt the seat on, which are right here. And then I measured the length I needed the seat to be. I made the front end a little thinner so that it tapers off towards the front. And that's going to be the basis of my seat. Okay, so here's the seat design I ended up going with. As you can see, there's a couple of carriage bolts here in the back with a nut in between them and this, and I'm going to put a nut on here. And then in the front, here's a piece of plastic with a split in the middle so it fits under here. It slides in and feeds in the front, and then it can't come out in front. Okay, there it is. I put some foam and some seat covering on it, and that's my seat. Fits the bike pretty well. It's a little wobbly, but I'm satisfied with it for the time being because it's solid. It just feels a little wobbly. And in the meanwhile, I've been collecting a few things for the fuel system. Happened to have this carburetor. It was an extra one that my brother had for his Honda dirt bike, and it fits. So that one's on there for now. I don't know if it's at too much of a weird angle for it to fill with gas properly, so I can't test that until I have a spark plug, which I don't have yet. Gonna get one of those tonight. I got a fuel shut off right here, which is gonna hook up to the fuel line on the other side, which will bend around and plug into the fuel tank, which happens to be this. Since it didn't have a tank with it, my brother was kind enough to let me use the tank from his dirt bike, a second extra tank that he got with his dirt bike when he purchased it. The tank was leaking a little, and the guy had been welding it, and then it caught fire, and so he stopped welding it. Right now it seems to be holding fuel without any leakage, so I'm satisfied to use it for this project. Anyway, I've got an improvised fuel tap right here. There's no shut-off valve on it. As you can see, it's going to hook up to the fuel line and then plug into the fuel shut-off down here with the filter in line. And that's what I've done so far. I'm going to keep finding and collecting things that I need to make this thing work. Alright guys, so it's the next day, and it just so happens that tomorrow is the day we're leaving on our trip that I want to bring this bike with. I want to bring the bike with me on that trip. So, as you can see here, I ordered a gear shift lever. It's here in time. I got a battery yesterday and I installed it, and now when I bypass the non-existent key switch, the headlight turns on. And I tested it last night, squirted a little bit of fuel down the intake, and it fired right up. So I've only got a few more things left to do. I just hooked up a clutch. I needed to put a hose clamp around here because part of the clutch component was broken off, so the line would have just fallen out of there. But with a hose clamp on there, it should stay put just for now. Eventually I'll go and do the whole thing properly, but you can see clutch works fine. I'll test it once I have it running and see if it's enough clutch movement. Even though this tire is junk, as you can see, it's cracked all over really bad. The inner tube does seem to be holding air fairly well, so that's good at least. I'm going to swap this out pretty soon here. Next thing I'm going to try to do is put a throttle cable on there. Alright, well, I mocked up a fuel system. I've got fuel line, fuel filter, everything I need. I'm going to try to start it up now and see if it's going to fire. test run has shown me a couple more issues I need to deal with, so I'm going to deal with those now. Alright, so as you can see by the fact that the bike is in the back of the pickup here, I succeeded in getting it running and driving in time to bring it on our trip to my brother-in-law's place here, down on his farm. So I'm going to get it unloaded from the truck here, and then I have a little interesting surprise to show you guys. So as I said, I would get it unloaded, and then I'd show you something kind of interesting here. Turns out my brother-in-law has the cousin of this bike, the Trail 90, here, and he's working on it right now, trying to get it running tonight. Basically, it just needs a fuel system flush and carburetor cleaning, and it should theoretically be good to go. So while we're here at my brother-in-law's place, we also just so happen to be bringing back his four-wheeler that I just finished fixing. You probably remember it from the other videos I put up on the channel recently. So we'll be unloading that pretty soon. Now for your amusement, we will get the four-wheeler off the trailer.
Don't expect too much.
So a lot of work, and 2 days later, we figured out this needs a battery to produce spark to run. So we got the only extra 6-volt that we had on hand, which is that one, and we're going to try to hook it up to the bike. May look a little silly, but it's going to run, so that's the important thing.